Jesus Christ. My Wi-Fi was acting god awful. Or I mentioned before, I have two networks, and one of them I use to stream, and the other one is just for when I'm on the internet regularly. I sat here for the last, I think, 10 or 11 minutes trying to make that thing work. I had to start the computer up again, connect to this other network, and then connect to that. It was just, it's such a hassle to do streams sometimes. The things you have to do to get, what is it, less than 11 people to watch something live. It's just, dude, it's funny that like the streams are a perfect allegory for the way I feel about chicks, where there's like so much effort for such a little tiny slither of a result, or even less sometimes. Because I remember that one Saturday, it was either Saturday or Monday, where I was streaming and the Wi-Fi wasn't working, the regular one I use, so I tried to use the other one that I know likes to crash, and then it started to crash after I was, I think, 30 minutes in the talk. I just, all right, forget it. Because just you just get sick of it in a little, never-ending cycle of having these computers act up and be insufficient. The right word to use. Might as well lean into it. I don't even know what that means. Like I do it sometimes. It's not even a common thing. And actually, while the most popular video is about chicks, the second most popular one is about politics. I've had more political videos get over 1,000 views than romance ones. So I don't know how accurate the estimation is. It seems like people just don't have any attempt to be accurate about stuff anymore. Like there was this one person that said, "Oh, most of your content is about women." Do you not account? They just don't even care. They just say things, and who cares if it actually is true or not? I mean, it's the same thing with those romance groups. They just always make up something. All the fan fiction and head canons and the rest of that stuff they create and concoct for themselves. Might as well lean into it. It's like what? If you come up with an idea about it, you'll talk about it. But outside of that, it's just I don't really see what's being done differently than now. It's really weird. Hey, but leave it to someone I've never seen before to write something strange. Oh, they love doing that. Just creating like retcons and trying to change stuff up for a minute. That's not one of those phrases that doesn't actually give us any estimation of how long that person's watched this stuff I hope this isn't like last Saturday where there was a bunch of free advertising for another channel, which was the most insane thing in the world. I'm waiting to see if any of the usual characters pop up. I'll give them about maybe 7 or 8 minutes, and I'll get into this. But this was really being done just kind of as a sort of substitute for the other video I was going to do, which I still want to do this week, but I have a part of it that I don't want to. It's a small part, but I don't want to rush it, so it might not come out this week. Or if it does, it's going to be like Thursday or Friday or something. Are about, and your most popular video has about 10 times your second most popular video. Well, I didn't say the most popular one wasn't about chicks. I said that the majority of the more popular ones are not about broads, but whatever. So they turn everything into a debate on here. And especially if you look at this year, the only did I had a video last year that had 1,000 views, and it was a political one. Yeah, it was the one on Bill Maher. He had said something about Biden or somebody else. And I was like, wow, I was told that the romance stuff was so popular and then those people just vanish. They probably are the worst crowd out of like between them, the political guys, and also the people that are like into the cartoons or whatever. They're the like the worst one because they well first they're the most greedy because they're like, where's the video? Where's the new video? Where's the new video? Because a lot of the political ones will donate, like they have a higher chance of actually supporting you. So they're my least favorite out of the different quote unquote support groups. And they're probably the creepiest ones too. Like they come on here and turn every stream into a Q&A. They ask questions that it's like really like the guy I had that went from asking, "Do you like World of Warcraft?" to "Are you a virgin?" Just this complete swerve for like no reason. He acts as if he knows the answer to that for me, it's going to do something for him. That's really weird, man. People on here love debating. You would think they canceled debate hall or debate class at these different schools. That's why they come online to do it. No, I didn't even intend on doing one on that that broad did the backflip thing. It's just when you get really pissed off with some of them and you can't express it directly to that person because a lot of times they make themselves unreachable, like they'll block your number or some other thing. It's just a nice way to vent. Like she really thought she was just gonna close the book on this. Like, okay, you get to you get to not say anything else to me, but I'll say my last thing. I remember that one chick that saw the video I did, and she was like, "I can't believe you would talk about me." I was like, "Hey, you can control who you date, but you can't control my response to it." Because that's another like big factor in this stuff that they want to control the way you respond to what they do as well. Like they want to control themselves, their love life, and then your response to it. Man, they're really not showing up today. Well, it makes sense. A lot of them like to come at like 11 or 12 or some other time period. No, I don't even like having that dead air time thing with that. That's one of the things I hate about the streams where if there's like not a certain number of people and you start talking about something, there's always that person that shows up at the last minute that wants you to restate everything you just said over the last 40 or 50 minutes. Just I never understood that with a video medium because you can just go back and replay it. And I've never done that on any stream I've attended. If I show up to a stream, I guess presumably late, as in later on during it, I'll just try to intersect myself with whatever's currently going on, and then after it's finished, watch it from the beginning instead of saying what's happening, what's going on. Please restate everything that already occurred for me. Give me a rundown of what has happened thus far. I like how Hell News just like threw me some emojis and then vanished. He made his cameo. He's an MCU character. He just shows up for like one scene in the movie, and then it's supposed to set up 5 other movies. Oh my god. Uh, yeah, I think we're ready to start this. So, a core theme of my discussions on this topic is the idea that modern romance, especially when you're dealing with people on a computer, because they're the main ones that kind of agitate this stuff, um, is always built around the man being an asset or finding ways to do things to appeal to a woman to such an extent that you would almost think that it was just the idea of romance is basically to become a woman's slave, to do whatever she wants, anything that benefits her, and it's all designed to cater toward her. Um, and I kid you not, if I was doing like a what are those streams called? The ones where you have the split screens. I'm not doing an edited video right now, but if I were doing an edited video or a stream where I could put up screenshots, I can name at least 4, 5, or 6 different times where someone has directly asked, "What do you have to offer a woman? Why would you date you?" Da, 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 da. Um, and it's always funny to read this stuff because I've been accused of overthinking things, as in overanalyzing it, or I guess actually putting thought into why this is so ridiculous and insane and so many men are affected by it. But I would actually say that's projection, and that a lot of the people who would say that about me are doing that themselves, because I'm not the one that goes to a man's video and starts to talk trash about the way he looks or what I think his personality is in order to justify the way he's been treated by women or the lack of success he's had. So basically, they'll accuse you of overthinking something or overanalyzing it, but then they're going to people's videos and saying this person is ugly and they shouldn't wear this shirt and they shouldn't wear glasses and they probably have just all of this different stuff that they concoct and conceive as ways of deflecting criticism from women. Oh, this man is just so terrible in every way, so it makes sense this happened to him. Um, but I think it's really important to ask, what do they have to offer that justifies engaging in what are essentially, when you approach them and they keep saying no, a fruitless task. And when you talk about going to the gym and becoming a millionaire and becoming famous and all this other stuff, are extraneous tasks. What is so good about them in general as to justify doing all of this stuff for what you conceive to be their affection? Um, just as an example, there's a person I bring up all the time. I'm not going to say her nickname here, but she had a guy who was paying for her storage unit that she, at the same time as he was doing this, cursed him out over the phone recurringly, cheated on him, all this different stuff. And I was saying that every time, it's funny that you have these men on here who will accuse someone of being broke or poor and needing to get money to get with a woman, because every time I see a financial transaction as it relates to a partner, it's always the man paying for the broad. Uh, so, for example, with the gold digger, she was begging me for money. I didn't ask her for a goddamn cent. Uh, the example I just gave right before that, and it goes back to that whole thing of, you as the man are expected to offer every possible thing to this person while getting nothing in return outside of maybe, I guess, being banged. Most of the time when you ask a woman what they bring to the table, they either stay silent or say they bring themselves. Yeah, which is another, like, I mean, if that's the criteria to get with someone, we can all say that I bring myself to the table, but it's just is valid. Back in the day, women were good for raising the family, but now they leverage their sexuality too much, and it's no good after a while. Well, you have people who actually try to say that things aren't the same as they've always been, even though we actually have statistics that prove less people are getting married. I can put up an article from about I think 2 years ago where they talked about how this is the smallest number of children born in the last 30 years. There's a lot of different stuff that shows that there are changes between ones in the past and ones in the present that people like to overlook or otherwise say are not there. And I never quite felt bad about, like when they would say, "What do you have to offer them?" Because again, you just flip it back on them, and there's no answer. And I noticed how disturbing it was that for all the times I saw people trying to tell me about all the stuff they thought I lacked and needed to do to just get a date, um, you would never see them pose the question back. Because remember, relationships, despite what people on a computer tell you, are supposed to be 50-50, where both sides compromise, enjoy the presence of the other person, like the other person for who they are. And you're just not getting that when you have one side that's constantly told to do all of this extraneous crap just to maybe get the slightest reciprocation from abroad, while the other side is allowed to be in its base form or poor state. Not talking about just finances, but just like anything you can conceive, and still be able to get with someone. So, for example, I don't make videos where I show pictures of chicks, but I've gone on Facebook multiple times and stumbled across a couple where the man is, you know, I guess skinny or in shape or whatever term you want to use, and then the woman is overweight. Um, and I've always said I don't believe someone's weight should determine if they can ever find a partner, because I don't like saying stuff like that, but I can reasonably infer that if the situation were reversed and the man was large and the woman was skinny, everyone would be spamming for this man to go to the gym so that this magic woman would show up and like him now that he has lost all of this different weight. But this woman who is overweight, is still able to find a partner, and it just goes back to that whole thing of you have to be at your best state, or what they consider to be this like Superman Mary Sue type figure who has no flaws and is perfect in every way. That's why they tell you to go and get all this financial crap, while the other person, because of their gender, is allowed to be whatever they want. Or they assume the fat guy has money. Yeah, but like I said, you never see chicks being told they have to become millionaires to get, again, like not even just a date, but a partner or anything. I've seen plenty of chicks don't have a pot to piss in because of how pretty they look. Somebody who is more wealthy than they are, which isn't, a high bar to meet in a lot of cases, is told that, oh, this person is out of your league. I always hated that stupid saying. I hate that saying because I mean, we already talked about why it was dumb in the video. But I thought it was funny for like men online who accuse me of having no confidence, but then they're the ones telling somebody who they believe they can go for and whatnot. And it's always stupid to read that in my comment section and know that I've never put up a single picture of any of those chicks I spoke to, like at all, not once. So they literally are making fan fiction. They're like, oh yeah, all 90 of these chicks were so amazingly beautiful and look like supermodels in the. Oh my god. That's another one of their coping mechanisms. They have to convince themselves that all these different broads were so great looking. Another aspect of their comedy. But again, it goes back to this thing of how they create stories, like they make stuff that there's no basis to believe in just to give chicks the benefit of the doubt. Um, that's why I had the person who said you probably approach in a weird way and all the rest of that dumb stuff. And it's even more ironic when you consider that if you want to criticize the way someone approaches as being insufficient, why don't you criticize the chicks that never approach men that they find attractive? Like, I'm not kidding. There are videos of chicks on YouTube saying they don't approach men that they think are good looking because they're scared. And no one's calling them cowards. No one's saying that they're pansies, no nothing. Just they get away with, being so freaked out they can't go up to somebody and say hello. That's why I said you should lean into it because your perspective is valid and discard and doesn't come with the fake macho. Um, I mean, I just don't believe a lot of these people on the computer. Like, there's a thing online where we all present mask of ourselves. We try to like a character version that we present to other people. But a lot of the guys that write this stuff in the comment section, if you really think about just how backwards the stuff they say and do is, like for example, if you tell them, I approached this many women, they did this, they did that, they will create things to try and excuse why this kept happening. So you have someone who says you probably approached in a weird way, even though we've never seen a single video of me approaching a woman ever, or any like recording or anything that actually can corroborate that claim. And the whole point of mentioning something like that over and over is that people online, for the most part, make claims without showing proof. Um, and there should be more attempts if they're going to cast doubts on your recollection of events to make them have to show proof. So if I have men who don't want to believe me when I say I approached this many women, and then this ended up happening over and over, like where they want to create some scenario to excuse why this happened or make it my fault, we should also say to them, well, if you're not going to take us at our word, we shouldn't take you at your word. That's what you were saying, like the fake macho thing where they try to present themselves as being these experts on getting with the woman, even though I kid you not a single man who's come in my comment section and written all that nasty stuff has ever proven they were with someone. So we should have them, being forced to offer some proof as well to be taken seriously. Being straightforward is approaching in a weird way. Brandon, it's another nebulous term that means nothing. I could say that Brandon entered this chat in a creepy manner for which my skin crawled. What the hell does that even mean? What did he do? What about that caused my skin to crawl? See, in more nebulous terms, they talk in riddles. Like the guy that said, dude, you're approaching women that are too hot. Go for average chicks with the brain. Dude, I swear to you, if you listen to them, you would think every single woman was out of your league because they're writing all this stuff about chicks they've never even seen a picture of. So you know that they'll just keep on, doing that of, oh, she was too good looking, go to the next one. Oh, she was too good looking, go to the next one, because they just don't want to criticize them. But I do think the stream's question is one that like never gets asked. Like I've never once seen someone on here articulate what a woman offers you. Like what does she do that is so amazing outside of doing something with her body, which any of them can do. That's why I never understood people like 30 guys talking to one chick when all of them do the same thing, physically anyway, like have the ability to do that. But no one ever tells me a tangible thing this person is going to do, like to make her worth, jumping through all these hoops for. And a lot of times they're so screwed up, they actually have to create OCs, like make fan fiction type characters. So what I mean by that is when they talk about meeting the right one and your soulmate, they're basically insinuating the idea that there is going to be this woman that's so great and amazing, right? Who is so great and amazing, they can't describe a single thing she's going to do that is remotely going to make her make it worth waiting so long to meet her, for the purpose of enticing you to continue talking to a group of people who, by and large, believe in wasting your time. And I hate those phrases so much: soulmate, right one, all the more nebulous terms. But again, they exist for a reason because people who aren't having this problem like to peddle the idea of those types of people existing for the sake of, again, getting you to keep playing this fruitless task in a much nicer way, admittedly, than people online who will just berate you and say nasty stuff and turn it into villains. What can you do for a woman? I'm telling you, every time I look at a relationship between a man and a woman I've met in real life that's like under 40, like the people involved are in the 30s or 20s, it's always the guy doing stuff for the broad. It's the man that buys the woman a car. It's the man that pays for her storage. It's the man that gets her a job. Like it's just it every time. And it's really funny to see that and then have people like sit here and actually be surprised that you don't think it's worth talking to them anymore. Because if getting with a partner means you're going to lose your money that you worked hard for, or you at least had enough, I guess, self perseverance or self discipline to not just spend willy nilly. I think there's something wrong with that system. The idea that getting with a partner inherently means you have to lose things that you worked hard for because they're supposed to be a plus or something good, and I don't see what good comes out of that. Again, when you especially consider that most of the time it's the man that has to like make all these financial backings of these chicks, so it really does seem like it's a plus for her and just a minus for you either way you go. No, they get away with everything. But no, this question has never been asked by a single one of those guys. They have written some variation of what do you have to offer? What can you do for it? Like that's been written, I swear to you, at least 10 different times. And I always thought it was stupid because it just shows how one-sided this whole thing is. I mean, you don't need to try to transform into someone else just for again the most minor of affections by a broad. It's really ridiculous. Oh, here's one of my favorite characters. That is the one question that you would never hear anyone ask. Another double standard, one-sided remark. Yeah, Megumi, this is like an apology stream for that video because I am trying to make it, but I have another part I want to add in. Somebody wrote something really goofy a few days ago, so I want to stick it at the beginning of it. And I was like having a hard time just sitting down and writing that out and then recording it. And then Euro says they can't give an answer. They can't give an answer because there is no answer. It's like in the video that's coming out this week, I have a screenshot of where this woman left a comment on James's video. And we talked about this comment before, where in the comments she says that she thought she was never going to meet someone, and then after getting involved with her community and maintaining her physique and pursuing higher education, she met a great guy. And it's inferred based off of what she's typing that she expects James to do this as well. And I'm just sitting thinking to myself, for him to go on maybe a date with a woman, let alone meet a great woman, he has to do all of that. You got a video where you said a prostitute is better than a girlfriend. That's real. Well, yeah, and there are a lot of people who responded to it with arguments that were just frankly terrible. Like I think a lot of people, to make themselves seem smart on this topic, they do one of two things. They either misrepresent what you said, so they like purposefully infer you said something that you didn't actually say, or they concoct fan fiction where they like create stuff that happened to you without having any way to prove it. I got a guy in the comment section said, "Prostitutes don't care about you; they just want to get their money and leave." Nowhere did I say that they did care about the men that pay them, but I also said that I don't think regular chicks care either. I think people give regular chicks too much credit because um, a lot of chicks especially like online, will tell a man that he's their friend and then block him after one argument. If they get into one disagreement with you, they'll just throw you in the trash like you were nothing to them. I've seen that happen at least 5 or 6 different times with chicks on the computer. And it's like they will really sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks just gassing you up. Oh, Megumi, you mean so much to me. And I feel we have a connection. I just want to be friends. Well, why can't we just be friends? Then block you. That's how a friend is rewarded. You get into one argument with this person, and then they just throw you in the trash. But then we're supposed to be surprised when they treat the men that they don't even consider to be friends even worse or just as bad. I am patient and waiting for the video. Good to know you're able to add more stuff to it before you upload it. Well, yeah, I wrote most of the script like in a quick succession of time, and then there's that comment came. I was like, oh, I got to stick that in there. Now, the only script I ever wrote where you just like you write it one night, record it, just stick it up the next day. That's happened twice. It was a video from last year. I'm forgetting which one it was, and then also the one about the woman doing the backflip. That was all done within, I think, like 5 or 6 hours. I was pissed. Spinbo sat here for weeks talking about let's get to know each other first. And then after you and her seemingly cool things down, she blocks you out of nowhere. And then she's such a spineless coward punk as to have her mother answer the phone when you call her to confront her over her second backstabbing of you. I have too. I've been through a similar experience with quite a few of them. Relationships aren't supposed to be one-sided. I don't understand how this has become socially acceptable, right? And like again, it's another one of those things where these people won't admit they're one-sided. But if you really think about how over and over again, as a man, you're asked, what things can you offer a woman? And it's never the reverse. No one ever says, hey, you should approach because if you meet a woman, this person will enjoy your company and they'll also pay for you to do that. Like it never happens. It's always you as the man have to, do all this stuff to appeal to the other person. The woman just has to exist and, she's able to, go uncriticized and also receive the fruits of your labor. And I just think that's wrong. I don't know. It really. And then people always say, "Oh, not all women are like that. Not all of them are gold." It's like, okay, sure, but then when you factor in, like, let's pretend that's true, right? That most women are not gold diggers. I don't have any way to prove that most are. I'm just saying, let's pretend that is something we can say is verifiably fact. Remember the number of rejections that you receive, and really think about if they're not all gold diggers, and let's say that most ones you've met are not gold diggers, but they still reject you, what difference does it make? Like you either get with one and lose a bunch of money, or you try to get with one who's not going to do that, who, plays the same stupid game of, oh, I only like you as a friend. So you see how that difference doesn't make a difference for you? Yes, you need to consider the nuances of this stuff. I mean, like I said, I'm not sexist, so like I'll admit there are ones that don't cheat, there are ones that don't, gold dig, there are ones that are not trying to get with you to become more famous off of you. But it's like if the ones that do that are unwilling to reciprocate, what difference does it make? Like if all the chicks that are not prostitutes will turn you down, then again, what purpose do they serve? Like you might as well only ever talk to prostitutes if you're going to get rejected by the majority of the ones that you try to speak to and get to know and all the rest of that trash that people say you're supposed to do to appeal to someone. Think about it. If their differences don't bear out a tangible result for you, then it's no good. And people have to really consider that when they talk about the differences between stuff, those differences have to be reflected in the people they meet and interact with. Otherwise, they're They're pretty useless. It's just like when I would talk about how the voice actors on the show I work on, I would say for the most part are talented, but if the talent keeps leaving um, in like screwed up ways where they like cuff my hands, I have to keep recasting and find somebody else. And I can't make a video for months because they won't read a piece of paper before quitting. Then what good is their talent for me? It's ruining my stuff. But hey, many people, especially online, would think you're crazy for thinking that way. Well, I mean, people online will criticize you for everything, as I showed in my video. I mean, I really sat there. I was like, have they actually complained about everything I can think of? Just, oh my God. Yeah, because they have many good experiences that outnumber the bad. No, every time you look at these relationships, like the ones that have actually happened, it just spells doom. Like, who wants to get with someone that's going to take all their money, for like something dumb that they caused themselves, like getting themselves kicked out of their own home, and then while they're doing this favor for this person that they don't have to do, uh, they're going to then get cheated on by this person and cursed on, be like, yeah, this is so great, this is terrific. I really feel like my stuff's going to good use. Oh yeah, Euro, that was hilarious. You would think that people online had like I even said they're like Dr. Gero from Dragon Ball, where they have like a little bug that they have that follows me around and it records everything I do, the way they talk about me. I know from watching your video that every time you spoke to a woman, you were wearing these glasses. Even the ones on the computer who couldn't see your damn face when you were writing to them. That was always hilarious when people would say you're ugly, and then you remember that Reddit, most of the time people don't even see what anybody looks on there. So your appearance literally was not a factor in the overwhelming majority of rejections there. But just keep letting them trick themselves into deluding, whatever. This is my favorite merchant. Chick repellent. You listen to people on here, everything is chick repellent. Like you just breathing is just like, oh. Dio's finally decided to make his arrival. I mean, you really like just looking at the way people talk about this stuff. They do a lot of assuming of what's going to happen. It's like you play out these scenarios and they're not good for you. Like you get with the woman and then she starts begging you for money. And then you say, hey, look, I'm done with you. I'm not going to have you, turning me into a piggy bank. Uh, then when you're single again, people will say, well, you should have tried to stay with her because she would have maybe changed her ways and fallen in love with you and possibly was having, because again, they have the built-in excuses. So they justify garbage behavior by chicks that you would never see anyone excuse for a man. You would never see a woman try to get with me and then I start begging her for money and then people are like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. You should do that. That person's totally worth doing that for. Megumi says, I mean, come on. You breathe and they dispel into the air. I'm in 5 places on the internet too. Well, I mean, I guess that's great. That's like that 1 month where Wolverine was in like 20 comic books. It's like, what the hell? How is he in hell and then also hanging out with the X-Men and then also with the Avengers? Like this timeline is, oh my God. Yeah, I'm not impressed by 5 places at once. I saw a character do that already. Times 4. I never would have guessed it would be so hard to get a date. And it was funny too because like I said, the projection, they'll tell you that you're overthinking this stuff if you sit here and talk about it, but they're the ones who are telling you that to get a date, because you're not going to just automatically have someone become your girlfriend from asking them out once. You have to go to the gym and then also become a millionaire and also become famous and just all this other stuff. It's like, guys, really? So they're the ones who are telling you to do all these very, because listen, contrary to what these people want you to believe, it's not easy to just have a 6 or 8 pack. You don't just gain it overnight. Um, so that by itself, you're being asked to do something that requires discipline when it comes to both exercising and also what you eat. And you're being asked to do that so that a random woman who herself likely has never lifted a single thing other than her purse uh, might say yes to going on a date. But again, if I came on here and said women need to exercise and they can only come to me if they have a 6 pack, people would say I was insane, and they'd be correct. They'd say, "Who the hell are you to be telling somebody?" But see, that would make sense, and I would agree with them because I'm someone that doesn't do any of that stupid stuff, or it's not how I explain it. Who doesn't do that to appeal to chicks? And I would be asking chicks to do that to appeal to me. It would be uneven. It would be me asking for someone to do something that I myself am not doing. So if these women aren't exercising, I don't know why you have to do all of that just to get one of them to maybe like you back. Brandon, you don't know how true that sentence is. You don't understand. It's like, oh my God. Megumi says overanalyzing the appearance of another guy when they are supposedly straight. I'm telling you, Megumi, I when I used to watch romance videos by other people, like 4 years ago, like when I first started making these, I never once went to another person's video and was like, let me see how pretty he is. Because again, it's like there are men that like there are chicks I don't think are attractive that are with men. So of course there would be men that I like as a straight man would not think look good that still are able to meet someone. It's just I don't know. That's why I said they turn something so simple as romantic attraction from abroad, which millions of men have had happen for them, and made it this like complex, exclusive group. Like they made getting a chick harder than getting into a university. I think I have a higher chance of getting accepted at Harvard before these bastards agree going to date. But that's not because I think I'm some great student. It's simply because with a school I can say, okay, well these are the specific things they want you to do, and this will increase your chances. But it's always like still you might not get in. At least I know this school doesn't have 50 people trying to get with it for no reason. But you get what I'm saying? They took this thing that a whole bunch of men throughout history, decades, whatever, have been able to get, and they made it this really exclusive, tight knit group of having to only supposedly do these steps to be able to get with someone. And this is not the case with chicks. They're not asked to do anything. They're not told what they need to offer a man. It never happens. Not to mention that looks is highly subjective too. They make it sound like they know the minds of every chick and their preferences. That's why I said that no matter what way you look, they'll find a way to criticize you. If I had a 6 or 8 pack, the first thing one of them would say is "You're ugly," and then it would be like, it didn't matter that I had that. That's one of the problems with subjectivity. Whenever you do something that you think is perfect, you can still just find someone that's a problem with it. That's why a lot of movies and shows that people will say are perfect. If you dig hard enough online, you can find someone who goes, "I don't think the music fit for this man. I didn't like this character." And again, if you sit there and actually believe everything that's typed about you on here, you will lose your mind. Because again, it's over analysis, over analysis. Not to mention, okay, I already read that. What else is here? They just click him like a file and drop in another folder when it's convenient for the plot. Oh, okay, yeah, now yeah, Banana was talking about Wolverine. Yeah, I don't know what Marvel is doing anymore with these comics. They don't even because I'm telling you, back when comics at least like that early, like that period of the 60s and 70s, you could realistically look at that stuff as a timeline of like what to read, how further to go. Like they would make mentions of he did this to me last year, and this story is set before this other story, and you can go read this book. And like now it's just, oh my god, Marvel's timeline is terrible. Like I'm not even talking about the floating timeline where things that happened in the 60s only happened 5 years ago. It's just they have characters in places that they shouldn't be because they're in too many places at once and they're all taking place at the same time. Very true. Again, it is another double standard inflicted on guys only. Yeah, man, don't let these people tell you why you are when what you are when they don't pay your bills. That's why I don't take them seriously because um there's a guy on YouTube who, and I kid you not, he actually wrote in his nasty comment, "You need some tough love." I'm like, I expect that from a parent. I expect that from someone who knows me personally, not a random guy on the computer who doesn't do anything but run his mouth. Like, if I were giving my brother tough love, that's someone I've actually taken care of. Um, and am not seeking to disparage in every conceivable way just because a random woman doesn't like him. I had another guy, the one that said the thing about me being mediocre just because I'm single, who said I'm invested in your growth, and that's what caused him to get yanked. Because I'm like, I've had people donate on this website and like regularly show up to stuff, and then you've been subscribed for years, and this is the first time I'm seeing you, and I just believe you're more concerned about me than they are. Like it's ridiculous. But again, they always present themselves as being nicer than they act because they are villains. That's why I call them that. They're antagonists. They do things that are not congruent to what someone who is on your side would do. Again, having a different opinion is completely fine. But if somebody comes in here and says, "I agree with this video, but I don't agree with this point because I believe da 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 da," da," but you don't see that. You see people who respond to a stream or a video by attacking someone over the way they look or creating scenarios that they have no reason to believe in to disparage what you might have done or create or cast doubts on your I guess lack of accountability for what happens. Just they always find a way to do something or take a position that is antagonistic. That's how it is. Very big shame. Yeah, man, don't let okay, I already read Banana's comment. That's the thing when people don't write something for a while, just look and try to see, make sure I have all the comments up to date. But let's say Megumi made a video where he showed his face where he was talking about how irritating it is to try to get a woman to like him. And I go to his video and I'm like, Megumi, you need to go to the gym and you need to also get cosmetic surgery because you're too ugly to get like I would look like a villain. I'm not addressing anything he's talking about. And I'm disparaging him over something that like I said, it's never it's appearance is subjective. So I'm presenting myself as like being Galactus and having the all-consuming opinion that every woman has. It's like this weird, uh, inflated ego that these people have. It's really crazy. Hold on a second, somebody's calling me. Hello. Yeah, this person was informing me of this thing with their schedule. Um, I promise you the right woman will come along. Good luck. No, she said the right one. And even if it was the right woman, it's still just, what does that even mean? Again, that is mocked in that video. I knew that I would do an edited video where that was mocked, and that's mocked in there. That comment is mocked for existing. It's mocked for the amount of effort that she thinks is normal for a man to give to just, again, get the tiniest bit of romantic reciprocation from abroad. It's mocked for promising this guy something that she knows she can't deliver, which is why she has to put good luck at the end of it. It's just it was terrible. And I was really disappointed that he hearted that. I was like, why? I wouldn't have responded. I would just left it there and then talked about it in the stream because that's what I do. I don't respond to goofy comments anymore. My response is a non-response by typing and a response by a part of the stream because every time you respond to them, they just double down on the stupid stuff. Every time. I definitely saw that goofy comment. Yeah, it was that looks like a parody of a comment. Like when somebody will write there trying to make fun of people who do that, not actually believe it. Gohan did get weaker after Videl. No, don't come on. You know what? We know that's BS because he didn't meet Videl until after the time skip, during which he became weaker by himself. So we know that him being weaker had nothing to do with liking a girl. So go argue with the wall. Do this. Yeah, Gohan got weaker after he met his future wife, even though he got weaker before he even met her during the time skip because he was such a waste by the writer who wanted to go back to focusing on Goku. You know what's so sad about that? That's the only part of the whole, like, if you really think about it, he's the only character in the whole series that's explicitly stated to have become weaker during some big time skip. Like there's a 5 year gap between when the original ended and then when Z starts. Goku's still as strong, possibly even stronger. Same thing with Piccolo. Same thing with everybody else. So out of that whole franchise, he's the only character who didn't train and just got weaker because plot convenience. No, that wasn't Videl's fault at all. So go argue with the wall, or you can use this one. The writers did Gohan dirty though. Oh, I don't argue against that. Like I could do a whole video on like how each show screwed him over after the Cell Saga, like how the Buu arc screwed him over, how GT messed him over. It's like we're not going to make the son of the protagonist infected by this villain, so he has to like deal with killing his own son to save the Earth. No, let's make Vegeta evil for the third time. And then instead of having Piccolo fight, have a rematch with 17 where it's two Piccolos merged together with like him merging with King Piccolo. No, let's have Goku fight 17, a character that he had no connection with whatsoever. Like any character you could make an argument that had a more connection with Super 17's concept than Goku did, but people don't care because he stopped training and became a professor, and because Akira Toriyama won't kill Goku because his fans will send him death threats. Well, he'll kill him. He just won't take him out of the story. Like he's dead for most of the Buu arc, but he's still pretty much just as prominent. Someone said if you actually like count panel time, he's in the Buu arc more than the Frieza saga, even though he's dead for most of the Buu arc. Like he has more screen time as a ghost. Oh my god. I think he's the only character of I've ever heard of getting weaker after a time skip. He is. You can go look at every other major shonen series, and at worst, a character didn't become much stronger. This is the only main protagonist I've ever seen that got weaker via time skip. And again, if they had let him beat Boo after getting his training with was it the Kaioshin, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But they're like, whatever. We're gonna have him do all this training that doesn't mean anything except have him be turned into a form for the main villain that isn't even his final form, and then have him get killed off unceremoniously. Like, just while I'm watching the Kid Buu fight, I'm like, wow, this is the first what is it, final fight of an arc since Cell, and the character who defeated the last main villain is dead for most of it, and then his only contribution to the whole fight is throwing his arm up just like everybody else. How the mighty have fallen. Oh my god, that was terrible. But then again, when you say that the Buu arc's the worst part of the whole original manga, people act like you're crazy. So whatever. So now the show is oh, okay. Let me read Banana's comment. He tried to kill Goku off in the Cell Saga, but the fans initially had a meltdown and blackmailed him into bringing Goku back. So now the show isn't just about Goku. Well, see, Toriyama likes to say, I just decided that it was right to keep Goku as the main character, but I think that's BS for two reasons. One, because you have the panel after the Cell Saga where Roshi says the manga will continue a little bit longer with Gohan as the lead. The intro for the Buu saga at the start has Gohan as the focused on character, and Goten was explicitly created just so they could have a Goku-like character without actually bringing Goku back. So I fully believe that he originally planned for it to just be, Gohan beats Buu and then that's the end of the manga, but they changed their mind. So now the show is just about Goku sacrificing story to appease angry fanboys on the internet. And like I said, it's like the new chapter is the first one I read in I think half a year, and it's just as boring as the rest of them. Oh, here's this villain, and Goku and Vegeta fly over, and it looks like Goku's winning. Oh, he's gonna show his real power. I got tired of it. He could have spun off Gohan and made more money, but he just hates everybody that isn't Goku. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Toriyama. A lot of people like to celebrate him as this great, amazing writer, but I'm not so sure. They stick his name on stuff like it's this big sign of how great it's going to be, and it's funny because like a lot of people like Battle of Gods when it came out, and then Resurrection F had a more mixed response, and I'm like, this man is not Jesus. Like, just having his name on something and having him write a script does not mean it's good. Nah, he kills me with that. And it was like a lot of people said, well, GT was all about Goku because the people at Toei are obsessed with it. Like, but look at Toriyama. Like, everything he does is about furthering Goku. He doesn't use any of the other characters hardly ever. Or if he does, they're a plot device. Like, originally, Battle of Gods was going to take place during Krillin and 18's wedding, but it still wouldn't have been about them. So he is just as bad as everybody that works at Toei as far as being obsessed with one character, not wanting to use anybody else. I don't know what people see in him. He wrote a good manga back in the day, but the last 20 years have shown he's just on some craziness about one character. He'll come up with some good ideas, but execution is not, no. Like it's just clown stuff, man. People over celebrate that man to the point of absurdity. Without the editor, we would have had just 19 and 20 as exactly. That's why I don't understand about people making this man seem like he actually knows what he's doing every time. to where they're like actively excited about him. It's weird. Oh my god, what a great person. Not in the slightest. Yeah, so we had about 3 of them decide to walk out of here. I think I pretty much said what I need to say for the chick stuff. I just think it's sad that one group is told they have to, like, jump through all these hoops, and the other one is kinda allowed to be whatever way they want. Um, yeah, it's but see, that's why I said it makes a lot of sense that it's so difficult to get a partner because the other side is, like, constantly having loads of men just throw themselves at them, which in and of itself is absurd because there's, we're not exactly lacking when it comes to the number of broads. So it's just weird. The whole thing is strange. No, I remember that with 19 and 20 as the androids of the android arc. They make it seem that way though. Yeah, I don't really know what the end game for these people is. Like you're supposed to get rejected over and over and over and over and over again and then like still want to do regular like my best friend for example, he's expressed openness recently to the prospect of going to Vegas to either get with a hooker sexually or go on a date because he's tired of constantly being stuck in that same repetitive cycle. And now that he's an adult, he can do something like that. Whereas back when he was a teenager, it was, he had to put up with this. So, people are getting tired of just constantly being stuck in this repetitive cycle where nothing changes. Like I said, since they have so much guys to choose from, why they settle for less, I guess, who knows? But again, what does that even mean? All of these men that they get with are all millionaires and famous and just I just think it shouldn't be this hard to get a date. You know what you're getting with the yeah. You don't have to sit there and talk to her for 3 months for her to open her legs or go and sit at a movie theater or eat dinner. Like it's just it doesn't have that ridiculously long, stupid plot twist prologue that people are tired of. You might get an STD. Yeah, none of these regular chicks have banged multiple guys. Dude, if you actually sit there and just think about the undertones of like how people make regular chicks seem like nuns in comparison with hookers, it's really disturbing because now they're trying to actually make them have this um, biblical purity, like oh yeah, she hasn't banged multiple men and she's clean and she actually likes you for who you are, even though she rejects you and a bunch of other men all the time. So why even bother talking to her in the first place? You know what I'm saying, right? That they turn when they're trying to make it make sense to just keep putting up with regular chicks as like, never ending plot twist prologue. That should be the new term for them, PTP, plot twist prologue, where the person like makes it seem as if they like you, and then after a few weeks or a month, oh, I just want to be friends. And the plot twist keeps happening where it's not even a plot twist anymore. This is why the prostitutes is better than girlfriends resonates so much with a lot of guys who are tired of the perpetual cycle. And like I said, I don't know what because this is the thing where people accuse you, you don't have any solutions. Well, I never came on here pretending to have any. But that is, and you can argue a solution, even if you might want a long-term partner. Many of the things she could conceivably do, you can get from someone if you pay them a price. And even if it's not your desired thing, my mic off? It's not showing the sound. I don't know if you can hear me. Even if it's not your desired thing, it still is something you can do to, I guess, alleviate having to keep playing this game over and over. So in a way, it is a solution. It's just not one that you would find as, let's go ahead and saying it, appealing as if it was just a regular chick that liked you, because that at this point just seems impossible for a lot of people. Yeah, it is working. Tell Steve Harvey I don't want her. Didn't he write some book about chicks a long time ago and then it got made into a movie? I just sworn one of my relatives like had a copy of that book. Uh, not not so sure about that. You're paying, but a girlfriend is someone who could potentially build a family with. Right, but that assumes that this particular one actually wants to do that. So it's another thing that you can't guarantee. Oh, I remember that book. I didn't mention this about the one that was in that video because it wasn't necessary to what I was talking about. And again, when I don't write the script and over a course of several days, I don't get to refine it and make sure that certain stuff I want to talk about is addressed. I actually did sit down with the not sit down physically and meet her, but like have a discussion with the one that did the backflip a few weeks ago, and she said that she also wanted a family, which again would make someone who wants that as well say, "Oh yeah, great, this is good." But here's the plot twist because we can never just have something a normal way. She is afraid of giving birth, so she wants to do it with a surrogate. Now, you can go online and look up how ridiculous and outrageous the price of a surrogate is, um, and you'll see just why I reacted the way I did to that. I'm like, so because you're so cowardly to do something that millions of women have done before, I'm expected to shell out, what is that, $20,000, $30,000? You get how insane that is that you're supposed to shell all this money so to quell her fears. And what good would a stream be without recurring villains? Am I right? LOL. You still are showing up to the streams of someone that you claim to not like to the point of writing 5 paragraphs about that person. Dear God. Hey, I am rubber and you are glue. Whatever you say, throw at me, it sticks back to you. look, at, look at James. He's like, what the hell? So Megumi, because she's afraid to do something that millions and millions and millions of chicks have done before her, you should pay out 20,000, 30,000 for a surrogate. I was like, this is why nothing can ever work. Even when you agree with someone on doing something, it's always there's like that that snag. Like, man, imagine if you spent half the time on these streams doing other stuff. Well, if I stream for what 3 hours in 1 week, that's another over 100 hours I can do other things in. So I can't stream for an hour about chicks, but people can make streams about TV shows and video games and movies for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, or in one case, 11. Okay. They can always retract from wanting to build a family with you, though, if that is what you both. Yeah, that's what she did. Just proving that people who talk about Justin negatively wrong. He's just giving examples that's proving them wrong. No, I gotta have a time limit on how long I can discuss something. Everybody else can talk about every other topic for until their heart's content. They want a they want to they want a to leverage. Oh, okay. I guess for men, there are no solutions, which I wonder then why they spend so much time. What are you talking about? No solutions? Did you not hear anything I said prior to the last 2 minutes? Like, oh my God, we could say the same about you. Well, apparently, he likes no solutions if he's coming back to the no solution channel. Men complain and stream for hours on YouTube complaining about women. I know lots of men that really have problems about dating. I just don't understand why there's a time limit for me to discuss this, but everybody else can talk about whatever they like for how long they like. Yeah, but I still believe a girlfriend is better than a prostitute. Well, look, we already explained why I think it's the reverse. There are some that are better, that don't beg you for money, don't try to get more famous off of you. If you're famous, don't cheat on you. But again, we're talking about tangible things that chicks have done that you can avoid if you do something with the hooker instead. Only temporarily. I didn't say all of them are better, but that was why I came with that position. Gonna be an issue till the end of time, men versus women. If it was men versus women, then why are men like you attacking me over not getting with one and writing paragraphs? It's not men versus women, it's lies versus people. Like the first lie was when you said, imagine if you spent half the time on these streams doing other stuff. You don't know what I do in half the time of these streams. Now think about it. How is it men versus women if there are no women coming to any of these videos and attacking me over saying I don't want to bother with them anymore? It's exclusively men. It's just a complete sausage fest. When you turn 19, going on 25, and you're not either in a relationship or married, then it's something really wrong with that person. If you say so, there's something really wrong with everybody then. Nah, half the time I'm kidding. I'm just saying I don't think men in general should put so much time and effort into this. Well, how much time are they allowed to speak about it? Because think about it, if I talk about this for an hour, I still have, what is that, 9, 10, 11, cutting out the period where you're sleeping. But like I did some of these streams and went to work. Like I don't know what is so bad about talking about this in your time of leisure. I don't really get why this is a problem. What I mean is men have issue with women and vice versa. That does exist. Who do you think we are? A dumb romance group? I don't know, James. You tell me. Answer with a non-answer. Dude, you know what is crazy though? Uh okay, he didn't put men. He put when you turn 19 going on 25 and you're not either in a relationship or married, then it's something really wrong with that person. I guarantee you, if I wrote that and put, if a woman is 19 going on 25 and she's never been married or in a relationship, or if she's not currently in one, then there's something wrong with her, I would be called sexist in a heartbeat. Look at this misogynist stream. Who keeps ringing the? I don't know what that is. Um, Come on, you're being blatantly disingenuous. No one is spending loads of time about this. Also, the I'm just kidding defense doesn't sell. Oh, doesn't shield you. Okay. And why should you force yourself to be miserable? I mean, I do have bad qualities, but don't we all? No, all the chicks are perfect. Only the men have bad qualities. All the chicks are angels that can never be criticized for anything. Even the one that drowned her 5 kids is a better person than you. Sometimes men can't take that hard pill to swallow when they give up on romance and life. It's really over for us in the dating scene. What's the solution? I have some issue with women adjusting to you. get depressed sometimes as a result, sure, but I mean, there's still other stuff you can do. Uh, I do too, but we've given examples, the stuff you'd want to do with a girlfriend, how often they can retract. So for sexual activity, a prostitute can be an alternative. But like I said, if it takes this long to get one to agree to go on a date, when you can just pay somebody to do that and not have to sit there for weeks or months spinning your wheels with God knows how many chicks that keep just doing the same thing over and over, I don't know why you wouldn't pick the hooker, even if it isn't the most appealing. Well, it's not appealing to sit there and talk to somebody for weeks or months. That's wasting your time. Now, I was talking about Andrea Yates' deal, but yeah, Casey's another one. Say that word again. Be blocked. I have never tried online dating, but I have never had success with women despite have very impressive physique. I don't even know what that means. People come out and talk about, look at my body that you can't see. It's like, okay, I get it. You're in such great shape. I understand. Tony, come on. We need a better response now. You come in here guns blazing. Whatever you say. No, people online love doing that. They pick fights. You never seen them before. Or if you have, you thought it was they would just leave. Like they don't like your stuff, so they just go. Online dating doesn't work for most men. Yeah, it seems like every time you try to get with a broad on the computer, it's but like my thing is, as someone who spoke to ones in person too, I didn't see a difference. Like they'll either outright say no, and they give you their information, and there's like some BS involved. Like the one that I told when I asked her for a phone number, I'm romantically attracted to you, and then she gave me her phone number just to reveal she had a boyfriend, which was like the stupidest thing in the world because why would you whatever. Then the other one that I asked for her number, she gave me her Facebook. I sent her a message on there. I am too busy trying to go to school and get the job to talk to you. Sorry. So it doesn't really seem like it makes a difference. Like you're just screwed either way. Recurring villains always wanting to crash the stream. I guess I'm the perfect self. That well, your response wouldn't have to be perfect. It would just have to be more than whatever you say. You know, it sucks. I don't have the screenshots of that anymore because of the damn. I because if I actually did still have the screenshots, I could put it up and show it. What about sugar dating websites like Seeking or I don't even know what that is. I'm starting to king. Oh, here we go. Free advertising. I don't know who that person is, but I have to. I'm being compared to him for some reason. I have heard many men have had a great time and loads of sex from Seeking website. Yeah. We don't like those romance groups. That's why we just don't affiliate ourselves with them. I told you it's so insane to never use the term any of those pills or going your own way or the I word, and then here they come. Like if you just put romance in the title, they're like, yeah. What was the comment? Oh, okay. That was why I didn't. Yeah, I didn't bother reading it. Oh, I didn't read the whole thing anyway. Imagine how the boyfriend feels. I'm sure I didn't get discussed. They do a lot of little sneaky stuff. That's why I don't get why people sit here and talk about getting with someone like it's this great amazing thing when they do when chicks do things like that. That's the problem though. Having to trick people and play them in games, the whole playing games thing is part of the problem. Yeah, because it's just a waste of your time. Like why do you have to sit here and talk to somebody for weeks or months who's just going to say they're not interested in you like all the other ones did? And the stream started going insane. This chat is moving really quickly. Like I said, this whole romance thing has turned into a comic book with plot twists, retcons, recurring villains, crossovers. Like in comics, they do what these people do, where like they go to like let's say you're reading Iron Man, for example. This reminds me of that time I went to Asgard with Thor. Like they'll mention other people that have nothing to do with the story, and they're like, you can read this adventure in Avengers number 200. Are pretty good though. I've slept with an army of them over the years. Okay. Why do we need to have a monopoly a monopoly on an opinion? Yeah, this is the I'm telling you, if you saw a woman make a video about how sick she was of getting turned down by men or not having them reciprocate or whatever the hell, you would never see people say she's part of this group that she never has done anything to affiliate herself with because they own the right to be a woman that is upset with not getting with the man. Don't they say women are more unhappy now and are more on antidepressants, not trying to put the blame on them or anything. I'm just saying both men and women seem to have problems. Well, I don't defend random men. I just think it's insane that people will like create scenarios to justify behavior by chicks that they've never met, that they don't know. That's my point that people go so far out of their way to defend these random chicks to the point of absurdity. But again, one side gets lynched over their problems, the other one is, allowed to have issues. I know a woman who killed her sister with her boyfriend, and now she's, got a kid with some other guy. Not I know, but I know of. That story was on YouTube before. Men never heard of leagues when she's pretty and attractive, and you're an average dude. Uh, Damn things moving too fast. You're an average dude. Is no chance she ever gave you choosing signals or falls in love with you. Yeah, Megumi, her boyfriend was like a predator. I think they were both underage, like 17, 18, and then she offered her sister to him, and then he molested her and then killed her, and then they like hid the body, and she was able to get out of jail because it's not in the U.S. I think where this happened, but I can find that story again because even after she did something like that, still found a man that you know was willing to go and be with her. And why can't we be real and tell the truth? Hey, what's that? What did Jeff Bridges say in The Big Lebowski? That's like your opinion, man. The truth. Yeah, Megumi, some of the stuff people have done with chicks or to chicks or that they've done to other people is really gross. I know that, but I'm saying that might give more insight as to why dating for some men is so hard. What do you think of the dressing? I don't even know who that is. Like, who's Dan? Who? They bring these people up as if, like, going back to what Tony said, if you spent more time with those stuff, they act like I just sit online searching up every person that's ever talked about this topic and know who all of them are. It's so weird. The only Dan I know is Dan Versus or Dan Slott, the worst writer of Spider-Man that ever existed. I don't know who that is. Not that Dan. If I've heard of this person, he's heard of him too. Yeah, I used to watch that show on the Hub Deal. Billboards, all this free advertising. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do with Tony. We're gonna have him. We're gonna put a little sign with my name on it. He's gonna go to all these different channels. This channel sucks. You should go watch Just. Yo, perhaps women in the South look at how society breeds them to be that way. Something I haven't found is that women from other countries have a different values. Oh, don't start with that again. People always have an insta fix. My wife is from Iraq. I doubt I would have ever married had I not married her. Yeah, look, maybe some of them do, but I had my own run-in with being the fiance of someone that lived in another country, and it didn't work out too well. Every time you try to be real and tell the truth about dating, it's like, I swear men get really sensitive on the live stream. I don't even know what you're saying. Like you type something earlier, and then there's like five people writing comments before I can even internalize what's being addressed. Like this, so I'm more confused about what you're writing than anything else. But okay, I'm sensitive. If I was sensitive, why haven't you been banned yet? If you're really saying something that has us like hot and angry. No, knock. I'll always remember being engaged to a Muslim broad from another country who only got engaged to because her religion does not permit her to get married. And then after 5 days, where she expressed her willingness to move to the U.S. and all this other crap, she gets to an argument with her mother and then doesn't want to do it anymore. But then says, "Oh, I might change my mind." I spoke to her for not 1 month, not two, but three, and nothing changed. My wife is Christian Iraqi, but was here for a postdoc. Again, that's why I don't believe in the different country thing making a difference. Look at James. If they don't like you, they don't like you. James, I don't need to explain every point to you. Well, I mean, if he's confused about something you're saying and you want people to understand it, why not explain why you believe this or what your position was? I imagine your wife has a different temperament than women in America. This is not the case for every woman, but yeah, I see your point. Yeah, I would have seen it if I didn't have that run-in with that broad 3 years ago. I'd be more open to something like that. But as things currently, hell, that one broad who said I was too good for her, she was from I think Scotland or something, some other country. It just doesn't matter. They're all over the world and they all act the same. I guess I don't know. I didn't meet a decent woman until I was 34 and still married. Yeah, I can't wait to meet a decent woman in 10 years, if not longer. You guys are really giving me no hope with this stuff. I never believed in going to another country on the hopes of finding a date. Never crossed my mind. Never did. How ridiculous. Yeah, like Mugumi, imagine to get a date, have to get a passport, have to get a hotel, unless you know someone that lives in that country. It's probably unlikely. Um, and you're going to speak to some woman who you don't know anything about, who you're going to hope reciprocates your interest. Like I said, it's just too much, too many. And then, like, if you go on a date with her, what's next? You're not gonna. Are you gonna move to that country? You're gonna come back with you? It. So I said, people don't think this stuff out. They just throw things at a wall and try to see what sticks. And most of the time, it doesn't. But remember, if you're not cycling through trash, there's something wrong with you. If you're not you with someone because you're afraid of dying alone when you're 19 to 20, there's something wrong with you. Dude, I'd rather be alone than be with these gold digging bastards. Like, I give the example of that guy because I don't understand what rational, reasonable person wants to be with someone who takes them for all they own. Wouldn't you think if a woman from a different background, culture, religion may see things differently? I'm not necessarily saying going to a foreign land, but you can still be American, but perhaps have a background somewhere else. Now, I'm not talking about seeing things differently. If I get the same result, like this one, for example, expressed openness to having a family, to getting married. Those are two things that I don't really see with chicks I approach. I talked for a long time. So you could say, oh, she sees things differently. But if you get the same result of the person concocting a reason as to why this won't work out before even trying, what's the difference? Another moderator just oh damn, that's a, I thought something went wrong when I because Banana's comment got withheld, so I was trying to. How about you, gross? Jesus Christ, I don't know what kind of feud is going on here. How about you grow some balls and back up what you say, or just admit you're a troll who says S word to get a rise to the people? In this case, I'm not impressed. You're just immature. Like, listen, I don't know what his thing is. He said, what was it, over a month ago that like the complaining continues and and it's like he's still here. So I must be doing something right to keep having him come back. We don't affiliate with those pills or terms on here. Dude, they really want to like integrate you into these groups. It's so weird. I had one guy was like, "Why don't you do a call?" And she was like, "I don't want to hear these people's voices and have them say ridiculous things on the mic." I'm good. What does cancel culture have to do with this? Who's being canceled? Nobody's been blocked. The worst that's happening to you is people are responding to what you're saying. Dude, people, this goes back to what Banana Merchant said. People will say something that doesn't even make sense and they'll act like it was so profound. Like they really just cracked the code on some big topic or conspiracy or scandal. It's like, what are you even saying? I am being canceled on a stream where no one is blocking me and people are addressing what I'm saying. Ugh. Like, what? Into cancel culture? No, he won't get blocked unless he insults somebody, but like, what is he talking about? I think they're literally going banana. Yeah, Megumi, like, what? I'll never put the word woman in the title of a stream again after this. Jesus. You don't want them to call in Justin just to say that the call is coming from inside the house. Oh, that's probably a reference to something I don't get it. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Well, a lot of people want you to be insane. They want you to just keep approaching chicks until the end of time. And then, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, they're going to blame you for the outcome anyway. Like I can't wait to hear Tony tell me about how it's my fault that a woman who asked me on a date, who I said yes to, and then she started talking about I just got confused and I want you to meet my parents. I want to get to know that somehow was my fault. I made her think all those things. I'm actually Professor X. And this has all been a campaign for the MCU's version of X-Men coming out in 2024. The word woman attracted them here. Yeah, they're like moths to what was that thing Tony said about me? They're like cats to yarn. I did not approach, I simply responded to an event. Okay, but you're not explaining how you're being canceled. No one has blocked you. You're not censored. Like, what? Yeah, that was my error. I met my wife through a response to an event, not an approach. Okay, but I want to know why you said you were being canceled. Like that to me, that feels like a misrepresentation of the values of the people on the stream. You're not going to get banned for having a different opinion. People on here actually will attack and harass you for having a different opinion, like insult you and say nasty stuff about you. Then when you ban them, he was censoring me. This is a dictatorship. Like we're not going after people just because they don't agree with us. We get rid of you if you insult somebody for no reason. Okay, man, good for you. I'm just imagining him doing that Halloween 3 clap where he looks up at the ceiling, him and his wife just applauding. Oh my god. Even I had a different opinion on certain things, haven't really insulted anyone. Now you came here talking about you're doing you're not the recurring villain, you're one of the recurring villains. We have a broad who said she was gonna stop watching me 2 years ago, and I've seen her on here at least twice. It's like I thought you were gone. And she could not live with her own failures. Where'd that bring her? Back to me. There actually was somebody on Instagram that was a recurring villain where he he took Mysterio from Spider-Man No Way Home, and he made an account like with a name like that, and he was like messing with this other guy, and then he closed off his account, then came back, and then posted that like post credit scene of that movie by putting the guy's real picture where Peter's picture was, like he was revealing him, like how Mysterio had revealed who Peter was. No, that's how you know people have just like actually turned into villains to where they're putting out people's information while posing as antagonists from major film. Oh my god. There's a guy who was trying to expose a supposed predator, right? Um, and he was on Discord, and like people kept saying, "Why don't you just call the police? Why don't you just call the officer, show him your proof, get this person locked up?" Because he just kept talking about him on YouTube over and over. He was like, "I'm not done tormenting yet," but that's the hero of the story, prolonging putting a predator in jail because he's quote unquote not done tormenting yet. That's the protagonist who's here to save us from Chester the child molester. Yeah. Chill, dude. You're not being tried at The Hague. We're just responding to this crap you said. Dude, everybody always acts like on YouTube they're just being persecuted. Like someone gets banned from a stream. I'm being censored. Like it's not like I can make a video or talk about this person on any of the other millions of channels on this website. How about you go fix yourself a banana milkshake and leave me alone? Wouldn't it be a vanilla milkshake? I've never heard of a banana milkshake. I've heard of banana smoothies, but well, I don't know which one of them started it, so that's why I'm just kind of, they want to write nasty stuff to each other. Be my guest. That's why I said Tony's trying to be a recurring villain because like he very rarely will people actually insult the people who watch a person directly. They'll usually just say, "Oh yeah, the person who makes videos lacks introspection," so he's trying to go after everybody. Hmm. I think I know who you're talking about. Dude, I don't want to say his name because I don't, again, no free advertising. And you probably do know who I'm talking about, but again, I don't want to promote that because the worst that can happen is I say his name, then he knows I'm talking about him, and then I get a video made on me or some others. I want to stay out of that. I just mentioned as an example of how a person who's supposed to be doing a good thing acts in a villainous manner by saying that they're not done tormenting yet when asked why they haven't called the cops on someone they're saying is a predator of children. I wasn't addressing this guy. He started it. I mean, that's kind of how it is with me and my detractors online. I wasn't saying anything to them, and they just come and insult you and call you out of your name and all this. Like what? Like you should have seen when I made the first romance video, like 6 years ago. Like, there's no way that you would have convinced me that just making a video where you just talk about getting rejected, you don't call anybody out their names, except to not reveal who they are. You just your experience would make people act that way. I would have said you were crazy. How naive I was. It's like that on Me Time where when you talk or just look at someone, they'll block you. Yeah, people will block you for anything. I had somebody block me for literally saying I wanted to speak to them. And I was shocked. I was like, wow, really? This is a thing that will get you in trouble? Wow. Oh, that's really ironic to have that written by somebody in my chat. Imagine doing a show where you give people months to record stuff as to not mess up their commitments to other things in their lives, and they respond to that by quitting your project abruptly and making it to where you have to go and get somebody else to do this stuff, and then wasting your time by not doing the thing that they said they would do several months ago before quitting when you could have just got somebody else. That's how your patience is rewarded. What is the story, Junior? Yeah, that's the same person. Your gotcha come. The vast majority of guys who have difficulty with this will refrain from making videos on this topic. Yeah, because I mean, who wants to get persecuted for having an opinion that they express with no malicious intent? Like, if a woman did a video where she was talking about getting turned down over and over, and she didn't call anybody out their names, she just said, "Hey, this is how I feel," and I came over like, "You're ugly. You need to go to the gym." Like, I would look like a villain. Is still talking about me and won't drop it. No, I'm talking about this thing where a woman was having her boyfriend pay for a unit that kept her stuff in after she was kicked out of her home for acting insane, uh, villainous and making threats and whatnot. And then he paid for it, like which I thought was a very nice thing to do for someone. And his reward was being cheated on and cursed out. So that's the appreciation that he received for doing something that he didn't have to do. Now, please do me a favor and walking outside and face. Now I'm gonna get in trouble. They'll be like, "See, he was making the threat." Like, no, I was reading with somebody wrong. He was making the threat. I must have really did a number on him. He's wishing me. Oh, get out of here, man. People make all kind of wishes for stuff to happen to somebody. There's one chick that after she stopped talking to me, she said, "I wish you the best. I wish you nothing but the worst." And I still don't feel bad about saying that. People do things to piss you off, and you're supposed to act nice. Let's all just hug it out. Just imagine it's like, "Come here," and they just embraced each other. There's this one video I saw where there's like a girl in I think kindergarten or first grade, and she apologizes for, I think, uh, yelling at her classmate or something, and then they have them apologize by hugging each other. It was so nice. Just like it's nice to see little kids just you know act like children, like actually make a mistake and then be punished for it in a non-severe way, but it's explained to them why this was a problem, and then they actually seem to forgive each other. Now people handle things by holding grudges for years and cursing somebody out and all the rest of that. Having arguments over the internet is stupid. Well, that's why I don't respond to my comment section anymore. Like, I'm not about to sit here and type to you all day. Yes, I do believe some women have been taking prescription pills from there. I believe it's crazy women out there. Yeah, prescription pill or not. I said chicks do things I don't even understand. Like they'll really sit there and talk to somebody for weeks or months that they don't like. And again, like I don't know any man that that's happened with where it's like, yeah, man, I was talking to this woman and me and her spoke for like 3 weeks or a month, and then she said she liked me, and I was like, well, I only like you as I've never seen it. It's always the other way around, just unrequited over and over. Oh, don't worry, this good woman is coming. Just keep on trying. And like I said, if you actually sit there and look at what these people will write to you about how you help them and all this other trash, you'll really sit there like, what is wrong with them? Like this is how they treat somebody that they claim they like? Oh, just not. I don't like you in that way. Yeah, I guess it's an ego boost. Stop trying that. Hey, I have. I don't bother with them. Remember this last broad? She started the romantic stuff. Send me a picture of yourself out of nowhere and then your phone number, which I didn't ask for, and then ask me on a date, and then it's the same result as if you had asked somebody on a date. That's why it was so insane. It's like now nobody can convince me. Oh yeah, magic woman will start approaching you. They'll do the same thing. They'll talk themselves out of going on a date. I thought I liked you when I asked you out, but I wasn't. I just got really confused. Oh my God, what is Banana Merchant writing to where he's keeps getting hidden? Megumi, it's like I'm so glad I have the screenshots of that because I know that if I just was talking about it, people wouldn't believe me. Like you have to actually see what was written and just how it devolves into crap out of nowhere. Like I don't know what thing they would do to where you can actually trust or believe anything they say. So did I, and it worked. Even when the ones you're not approached do the same thing as the ones you do approach. This banana guy is still going. That sounds like something they would say on a porn website. That guy with that banana, he won't stop. Everybody's getting screwed stuff. Yeah, she used her confusion about her sexuality as a shield. Again, I've spoken to gay people. They don't being confused about their sexuality does not make them ask you on a date. Like that's the only one that's done that. What a dingbat. What did James just write? It's not going to work for everybody. I've never heard that before. We all have this one thing we're supposed to do that's just going to make everything magically different. They always trying to exchange sex for gifts, and work for. I mean, at least that one didn't beg me for money. Like they always have some different screwed up thing about them that doesn't work. So many defective chicks. They always have that one or two things that just either that or they want to try to keep you around for to practice their lying skills on. It's like mining for nugget of gold. That is going on a date. It's so hard to get a date. It would be easier to go in a thunderstorm and dodge rain. I'm just imagining somebody actually able to do that. They're like slipping and sliding, like Mr. Fantastic. They just make themselves go through all this rain. If woman trying to exchange, she's not attracted to you. And you keep going and going talking about face plant. Oh my God. No, but you know what? Unique people are rare, so it stands to reason that partner will be equally rare. It is simply by chance. I stopped trying and it fell into my lap. I was older, yes. But why should someone have to wait until they're, what was it, 34 to just get a date? Like, we're not even talking about getting a wife or a girlfriend, just to go and sit with someone at a restaurant or at a movie theater. Why does it require an extraneous period of time where at first you approach, then you say to hell with it after multiple years, and then this person just appears and now likes you? Why did they make something so simple overly complicated and stretched out? I just don't see why it requires all. That's why I said the juice is not worth the squeeze. Like, just it's that's one of those things I don't think is worth doing all this effort for or taking this long to get, because I don't see it as that big of a deal. Like, I kid you not, if I asked 10 women over the course of my lifetime to marry me and they all said no, I would understand even if I didn't like that result, because that's a lifetime commitment. But just to go on a date, you have to like do all of these steps. It's just I don't understand. Maybe we are. Oh, come on! Don't start talking about mental illness. So everybody that can't get a date has a mental illness. Oh, Brandon, see, the other mistake people make is they assume that every chick I speak to is the same age as me. Literally, the broad that I offered to move in to help her pay for her rent so she could, what do you call it, save her money, was over 30. Triple L was over 30. Like, they act no differently than high school girls. They're just as confused. They're just as time wasting. Okay, but listen, if you go and tell somebody that they have autism, they're probably not going to be happy when you tell them that. So it's considered like a pseudo insult to ask somebody if they have that. And again, it's always mental health and personality traits and all this. All of it is, every time it's negative, it's tied to getting with a woman. They always have to have all this different stuff wrong with me for that. You have trouble making eye contact. Yeah, I'm so nervous. How can I make eye contact with someone on the computer? I'm typing stuff too. Well, you can say black all you want, but it's a fact that most of the men that are considered I words are white. So this isn't just an issue for this particular ethnicity. It's happening to everybody. Yeah, like I don't know what Megumi is. I'm not going to ask him his ethnicity, but like there have been men of other races that have come on my stuff and said the same like problem. And again, most men who are part of that I word group have been asserted as being white. Even if I was, it's none of your business anyway. Yeah, like what? No, remember, Megumi, if we tell him to stop or like we bounce back against what he's saying, this is cancel culture. That's a really nice way of being canceled. They let you write whatever you want, and all they do is respond to it. Yeah, and people misrepresent my chat all the time. It's not even funny. Like confronting somebody about their view that they know is out of line with everybody else is like being persecuted when they're like, and they don't even have to insult the person. They just ask them, "How does this make sense?" Stop attacking me. I actually have mild, but I don't think that's the problem. The problem has been my looks. Women have even called me ugly. I'm black too, by the way. Okay, but like I said, there are men that you don't, that I'm sure you don't consider attractive, that have a girlfriend or wife. So I don't even really take that like I just don't believe these chicks are all so amazingly beautiful and gorgeous as to like like most men or all men or whatever are like beneath them, are just in general. I think that's ridiculous. I am not a fan, but I am interested in his. I have watched him for years. So I'm so flattered. It's always somebody you've never seen before that says, "I'm a long time sub." Remember that time I didn't comment? Oh my god, people on this website. I might do another Dragon Ball video this week or next week. It's because I do have some ideas. Like I just took this big hiatus from them because I was sick of all the editing, and then you get no views or barely any more views than usual. So that might be made. I don't know. I did once write a script for a pilot of like a fan show. I might finish the rest of that script and then maybe do it. I don't know. There's a lot of little different stuff I like about that series and stuff I don't like but think should be discussed because I don't see other people talking about it. It's very nice to see a grown man talk about this subject that does not have a wall of children toys in the background. What the hell? You know what's so sad about you saying that? There are people that do like reviews, like Transformers reviews and other toy reviews, and they have a wife. So again, I just don't believe that there's this one specific thing that people do that causes them to just not have a part. Because like every time I can think of a different character trait or thing that someone has, it's never stopped them from getting with someone. Have you ever gone on someone else's stream as a guest and why you having problems getting women? No. What's wrong with decor? Yeah, what would be bad about having a collection? Like I don't. That's why I said, man, it's overanalyzing. Do what you love. It's that simple. It's very nice to see a grown man talk about this subject that does not have a wall of children's toys in the background. Like what? It's that comment is hilarious when you know about like those big channels that review toys. They all are married. Like every one of them I see has a girlfriend or a wife. So it's like even when they do that, it don't matter. And most of them were married before they even had a channel, from what I've seen. I mean, people will pay a lot for that stuff. I'm sure there are dudes who are just as unconventional appearance, if not more, so that can get. Yeah, I don't really care about appearance anymore. You're contradicting what you just said. You know that, right? I mean, isn't that what they always do, Megumi? Isn't that like their hallmark? Aren't you 34, be an adult, and stop putting people down? Told you that you would really think you live in the Soviet Union when you hear men talk about like other men, on this topic. Like everybody has to act the same, everybody has to like the same stuff. It's really crazy. And it's like if someone did have children's toys in the background, why would that diminish what they're talking about? And this is the thing people don't like to accept. Most of those franchises that have children's toys are the most popular stuff around. Like the movie that sold the most out of any before Avatar swooped it back in was Endgame, and they had a whole bunch of toys for that. So if that man is immature for owning merchandise from a film that was the most successful of any of them at a certain point, I guess everybody's immature for seeing that over other stuff that there were no children's toys for. Yeah, even look at Star Wars. Same thing with that franchise. Like Star Wars Theory has a fiance, and like most of the guys on the top of that, they have girlfriends. I don't know why there's like this weird thing of being into something like a series like that's cartoon related or whatever. It's like considered some anti-woman thing that's going to make it hard. It's like it's BS. All the guys that write comics are married. All the guys that write cartoons usually are married. Like it is so weird to see them try to trash that stuff and make it seem like that's an obstacle. I am 50. I was 34 and I met with my wife, just to clarify. Well, I just think at 50, you shouldn't try to put other people down for having a different lifestyle from you. They can still take care of themselves. I don't really see what's wrong with having a collection of stuff. The only reason I don't collect stuff anymore is because I don't, I have people that just mess with all my things and move them everywhere, so I can't even display it in a manner, even if I wanted to. It plays in the stereotype just into being nerdy, and these nerds have a hard time getting with women. Yeah, but like I said, if you look at anything that is considered nerdy that has to do with one of these franchises, all the people involved have wives or girlfriends. No, you initiated talk about children's toys in the background, and they always do that thing where something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. They introduce it. They bring up people that I don't talk about ever. They bring up backgrounds that I don't have. Like, what is that? Right. Well, these stereotypes are proven to be BS. Like, it's just stupid stuff that people say to, again, like, avoid and lack nuances. There have been many people that were considered nerds that have someone. Yeah, that's why it's a comedy for them to sit here and act like, oh, this one character trait is how to attract a broad. You have police officers that are married and career criminals that are married. You're gonna sit here and tell me about this one personality that is so all encompassing. Like, get out of here. Go argue with the wall. People are just really weird. They just want to oversimplify everything. You're a nerd. You're ugly. You don't have a car. And I don't see how any of that stuff helps anybody. Yeah, weird man, just weird. Well, look, it's gotten really weird this stream. I'm never gonna put the word woman in the title of a stream again, because that apparently makes people just lose their minds and start writing crazy crap. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, Megumi. Thanks, Dio. Thanks, James. Thanks, Banana Man. Banana, as the other person called you. Um, it's just it's sad that people act the way that they do. No, that was my last mistake. No more woman in the title ever again.